Welcome to the Wisdom to Wealth podcast. This is the podcast where we interview the wealthiest entrepreneurs and business owners in the world. I'm your host, Shamara Star Cox, TV producer and marketing coach. I help 6 and 7 figure business owners create binge worthy content in order to attract and convert their followers into customers. I am also the founder of the Convert Content to Cash Challenge. So if you're on here listening right now, you want to learn how to create content that sells, feel free to comment or DM the word challenge accepted on Instagram or TikTok, and I'll personally send you an invite. Today, we have Jason Nemes with us. He is a health and wellness expert and overall serial entrepreneur. He's also an international best-selling author. Jason went from having a trash bag of clothes and living in his buddy's living room in May 2013 to earning a six-figure-a-year income after just 3 years. His health and wellness business now generates millions of dollars in sales per year. Jason is now a top 1% income earner throughout all professions and widely known as Tatted Prez. I love that. I saw all your tats on your body. I love that. I love that you have this bold statement and you're still able to work with people and you're still able to build your businesses. So welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely. Let's jump into your journey because your story of just having a trash bag of clothes and then to where you are now is amazing. So take us on your journey. How'd you get from there to where you are now?
Yeah, I mean, you don't know what you don't know. And when you start to change up who you're hanging out with, who you surround yourself with, you start getting introduced to new ways of thinking. And then from there, you can change your life. Same information in produces the same results. So I started getting around very high level people. I said yes to an opportunity that I said no to for many years. And then, of course, there's a lot to the journey and plenty of mistakes that I made, but that's how you grow. If you're not making mistakes, you're doing the same things over and over. So yeah, I mean, that was the start to it, was getting around people that knew more than me. And not just that, but wanted to truly see me succeed. That saw something in me that I didn't even see in myself at that time, and really casted a belief at like nonstop. You can do this. You got this. I believe in you, man. You're going to hit these levels before I even got there. Keep going, keep going. When you start to hear that over and over again, you start to believe it. So that is the beginning trajectory of what I've been able to create today. And my health and wellness business still generates millions of dollars a year, but that's not even my main focus now. I started a roofing and construction business, and we hit 7 figures in 6 months outside of hail season. So we are, I mean, I just got asked to merge with a multiple 8-figure company. So, but probably, I'm not going to do that. So we got something really special being created, and I'm really excited for what's happening.
I love this. Right out the bat, you jumped in and said, I surrounded myself by people who believed in me. And that's just super important because oftentimes when business owners are starting out, they're not surrounded by the right people. And they may still have this mindset of, I can't do it. It's never going to work. And then they're surrounded by people who also have that mindset. So then it feels like the battle is harder. But for you, right off the bat, you were surrounded by these people. They were able to pour into you. And because of that, 3 years later, you were able to build this 6-figure business or have this 6-figure income. And now look at you many years later, but what are we, over a decade now? And you have a second $1 million business that is getting a lot of traction. So
it'll be 8 figures this year for sure.
There you go. That's gonna
be we're looking at doing 20 million this year, our first calendar full year, January to December.
I love it. Talk us through this mindset that you have right now. Like, you're very just much, you know what? We hit 7 figures in my health and wellness business. That's just what happens. We're about to hit 8 figures in my roofing business. Talk us through this mindset and this confidence of being able to hit these high numbers in your business.
Well, not to toot my own horn, but I've done the work. And I had one of my mentors, he actually called me out on some things. He's like, dude, you act like you're a 5-year-old child all the time. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, anything, something good would happen. Oh my God, you're not going to believe this. I just, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, when you do that, it's like you're surprised that certain things are happening for you in your life, which means you'll block even bigger blessings. Of course, you're engaged to a phenomenal woman. Of course, your businesses are succeeding. Of course, you're friends with celebrities and meeting certain kinds of, because you've done the work. Like day in and day out, every single day, you're putting in the work to become a higher level individual, a higher level thinker, a person who gives back, a person who focuses out versus focuses in. And so at the end of the day, it's about reverse engineering. What are your goals? Where do you want to accomplish? What are the numbers? Okay, this is how much we average per job. And I just did some numbers the other day and I couldn't sleep because I really feel like it's going to happen. But okay, if my average is $25,000 per house, like right, per job for a residential home, and my goal is 10 million, then it was 500 houses or like 20,000, but our average is a little bit higher now. But you get what I'm saying. It's like, it's just based on numbers. And so if this is my goal and I get this amount of sales guys and they're doing this amount, then this is what it's going to look like. Okay, I have a new training class coming up next week. We've already got 12 enrolled. We're going to have over 25 sales guys. If each of those just do one, so it's like just breaking down numbers. And so I'm just so confident in what we're able to do because I bring a little bit of something different to this industry, just of my experience in the network marketing industry and just being a selfless leader of truly wanting to see other people succeed. And there are other great companies out there, but I've heard a lot of horror stories. And so, I mean, I got people coming to me from other companies. I got people that work for me that have way more roofing experience than me, but I do good business and people are paid on time and I pour into those people. I'm so proud of you. I recognize for everything. Just like you said, 7 appointments for next week. Like, nice work. I'm always lifting people up. And when you provide that kind of environment, that's something that people don't get other places. They're only shown attention when they're doing something wrong. That's how you lose people like that. So that's why I'm so confident, because I'm a master of recruiting from network marketing, and I truly believe in people and want to see people succeed. And the way that I structure my company, everybody can come in and do astronomically well. And so it's not like I'm speaking fluff. And when I truly believe something and it's in my heart, because I know what I can do and provide for people and my customers, and that's why the closing percentage is so high. People, like, they don't say no, really.
I love it. There's a couple of things you said, and I want to touch on them, but let me touch on this first one here. You said, I've done the work. That was one of the first things that came in your mouth.
And I still do.
Yeah. Talk us through what that work is and what it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, I do personal development every single day. And, at heart, I've kind of a hothead, and I'll be the first to admit it. I'm quickly triggered, but I've practiced patience. And of course, it's a work of art. I practice patience. I work on my mindset. I am so focused and understanding the importance of not acting on emotion, staying neutral, and just making sure that you're in control at all times. And that is something that is so key, and it's so huge. And I'm literally every day I'm working on bettering myself. And I've even there was something that happened in the company where something happened on a company call, and I got there was a backstory, but still no excuse, because nobody in the company knew the backstory except the individual and myself. And so I sent a message to him afterwards, apologizing that I could have handled it different. And and that's another thing. There's no ego. There's no my way or the highway. There's no, with the company, I don't say me and I say us, like this, and that's casting vision. Like, this is where we are going. And that's just something that, I read all the time. Right now I'm reading Traction, which is a phenomenal book. But I'm always reading. I'm very careful of the music I listen to. I usually listen to audiobooks or high-level podcasts, with good content in there. And couple times a year, I'll go to some events. I try not to go to too many. I feel like there's so many people out there that go to all these events, and then every year they're in the exact same position. Like at some point, you got to put in the work. I mean, come on. Especially in reading, like you can read a bunch of books and just have zero success. You got to put stuff into action, and that's really doing the work. But mind, body, spirit. I'm very centered with God. I work out pretty much every day. I just finished the Live Hard program. Most people know of 75 Hard, Andy Frisella's program, but most people don't know that there's actually a whole year program. It's 75 Hard phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and there's a structure to it, and that's the year. I just finished a few days ago, right? So I'm disciplined. I know where I want to go, and that's what I wrote the book on, The Code of Behavior. It's where do you want to go in life? What are the accomplishments you want to have? And day by day, are you doing the things that are going to get you there? Because what you've done day by day for the last 1, 3, 5 years is an exact result of where you are today. Most people are not happy where they're at, and we're creatures of habit, and we do the same things over and over again. Well, guess what? Like, I know where I want to go. I know what I want to accomplish. So I'm reading and listening and working on getting around high 8, 9, 10-figure earners because they're where I want to go. So they have information that I don't have because they're there. I'm not. And so that's doing the work.
I love it.
Yeah, thank you.
I love it because you started off with, I do the work every day. Not some days, not when you're feeling bad. Every day you're doing it. And actually, you just taught a whole masterclass on what this work looks like, right?
I have discipline tattooed on my neck.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's powerful because you walk through 3 types of doing the work: mind, body, and spirit. It's not just the mind. Oftentimes I meet entrepreneurs, especially when they're just starting out or they're trying to scale, that their focus is only on the mind. But then you also mentioned you have to do the work. Like you said, there are some people who are in the same position because they get so excited about just doing the mind work that they don't actually take action. And it's not just one. You need all 3, right? So I really love that you shared that. Another thing that you talked about, and this really resonated with me, I didn't want it to leave, was your coach said, you act like a child.
He did.
Of course, these things are going to happen for you. And it reminds me of what faith truly is. Like, oftentimes we can marvel at God, right? But he's like, of course I'm going to come through for you. And it's like your coach really brought you back to this level of expectation. Not like, oh my goodness, this really happened for me. Like, no, this is going to happen for me. And it helped to level you to keep moving forward. Talk us through that mindset and having that level of faith of like, no, this is going to come through for me.
Well, I mean, he really woke me up. Like when he said that, he's like, dude, every single thing that starts to happen, like you're so excited. It's all like, do you not expect these things to happen? Like, bro, every single day for the last, this was back then, so like 10 years, you've been doing XYZ daily. Why do you think blessings that you've been hoping for and wanting, why do you think like they would not come? And you're obviously thinking that because of how excited you get. It's like you're so surprised that they did. And so, there's certain things that stick with you. Like there's a lot of things that happen on certain days. Like we'll say April 4th. That's a very significant day for me. There's a lot. Most April 4ths, I couldn't tell you anything that like I have no idea. But there's 2 April 4ths that I'll never forget the rest of my life, right? There's just certain things that stick with us, and that is something that has that's always stuck with me. And now when something great happens, or like I sign a huge deal, it's like, of course it happened. Like why wouldn't that happen? Because of who I am. And it's kind of like, it's not analysis paralysis. What's the word, the phrase I'm looking for? We're like, I can't think of it right now. Like where you don't expect things to happen to you, where you can't believe, imposter syndrome. Thank you. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. And then we kind of get this imposter syndrome, like that's not who we are, maybe because that's not how we were brought up, and that's not the level that we were at. Like we didn't really know this type of life, but it really isn't that difficult of a concept to grasp. Like success is not that difficult. It's not easy, but it's simple. And the simplicity of it makes it boring for people because you do the same things day in and day out. Like you're working on building this building this business or being successful with this company. Every single day you wake up and you get to work and you're pretty much doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. And people get burnt out. And then they go do something else. And then you're back at the bottom. Like with my network marketing business, I put like 10 solid years in. And then some things started to happen. And for me, a personal thing, I just wanted to shift. And that's all. And now, day in and day out, we're doing the same stuff. You wake up, you get to work.
Yeah, I love that. I really love that you're talking about this. It's the longevity and the long haul of actually building your wealth and building your success, especially with social media, where there's a lot of people that's like, I just started today and yesterday and tomorrow I built a 6-figure business. And it's
So
like
fake on social media, a bunch of nonsense.
Yes, it is.
Like, and then you go spend $10,000 on their course and you've never even done due diligence on the person. It's ridiculous.
That part. And so the thing is, some people just aren't sharing. Like, yeah, I did build a 6-figure business in 1 year, but it took me 2 years to build it in that 1 year, right? Like there's a lot of mindset work. There's a lot of skill set. There's a lot of assets that I had to create in order to do that. And then, yes, we did hit it. Oftentimes people don't share those things. They make it seem like it happens overnight, but it's not. And so I like that your coach has shared with you, you've been doing this for 10 years. So all you're doing is reaping what you've been sowing. There's a sowing season and there's a reaping season. And so when you hit your reaping season, it's like, this is what I expected because I've been putting in the work for the last decade. So
exactly.
I shared that.
Like when when you get there, it's like, dang right, we got here. Because every single day, like you said, whether we felt like it or not, there's zero. It's not about when you're motivated. It's not about when you feel inspired. It's about the discipline. I'm committed to my commitments, and that's it. No questions asked.
I love that. That word discipline always just hits home.
It's the best.
It is the best.
Funny story. I used to have it as my license plate, DSCPLN, and I forgot to renew it 1 year, and it was like a few weeks, and somebody got it. I was so mad.
No.
Yeah, they got it.
That person was excited too when they got it.
I still have the plate.
Yeah,
you just put it on there, but yeah. Anyway.
Hey, well, you have it tatted now, so
I do have it tatted. Yeah,
I love it. Talk us through how you help your clients. Let's talk about your health business for a little bit. Talk us through how you help your clients so that they are obtaining optimal health.
Yeah, I mean, most people, they feel like crap. They don't look their best. They know they can look better. A lot of people, it's like they know what to do, but they don't know. Or they need the accountability aspect. So with my clients, I give them workouts, which change usually every 4 to 6 weeks, depending on if they're doing the workouts and they're sticking to the plan. And then I give them a macro-based diet that goes by their 3 different things. And that changes based on them hitting their macros. There's a whole structure to it. And it is not a macro diet where you go eat whatever you want. Oh, it fit my macros. There's specific foods that you eat, huge list of good, healthy foods, and then you stick to the plan. And I can, I use Trainerize and MyFitnessPal, and everything's connected. I can see what's going on. We do weekly check-ins. We talk via the app. If you have questions, I usually respond within 2 hours to all messages that I get. And that's it. That's it. And it's very affordable for people too. So yeah.
I love that. How do you keep your clients going when they start feeling demotivated or discouraged in their journey?
I remind them why they started. I mean, it really comes back like, hey, and that we do a whole consultation call, like what are your goals and why? And yeah, I mean, people, like I said before, we're creatures of habit. And so it's very easy for us to drift right back to where we used to be. And it happens often, but that's the accountability factor. That's like, now you didn't get off track for 6 months. You might have gotten off, because I'll still message people throughout the week. It's not just once per week. Like, hey, how's it going? Like, I'll make adjustments with somebody 2 days later. Hey, how are these adjustments working out for you? Oh, I'm feeling good. I'm really hungry. That we'll start to change things up. And so they might fall off track, but it won't happen very long because we're in constant communication. And like I said, with my roofing business, I pour into people, I make them feel good. And it's like, hey, do you want it or not? I mean, I can give you the plan and I can give you all the words of encouragement, but at the end of the day, you have to truly want it for yourself, because it's simple but not easy. And that's kind of how it is with everything. I said that before. It's simple, but it's not going to be easy, because it's a total reprogramming of what you're used to day in and day out.
I love that you keep saying it's simple, but it's not easy. So I want to throw some definitions out there so people can understand that. Easy means no effort. That's why you keep saying that. There's no effort when it comes to easy, but simple means that you'll be putting in effort, but you'll be able to see those results simply. So I really love that you keep talking about that.
We know how to get a six pack, eat healthy, burn calories, burn more than burn more than you eat. Like we get that concept, but why do such few people have a six pack, or not even a six pack? Yeah. Like the body that they're comfortable in.
Awesome. So for those who are listening, by the way, let me just share this with you. Your energy is amazing.
Oh, wow.
I was in such a just a somber state just now. I was doing work, but the way you just raised my energy up, I'm like, yes, come on.
I appreciate that. I get fired up. And you know, are you going to bring up the April 4th?
Yeah. I actually want to talk about it. Yep. Yeah, go ahead. You can actually go into, I was going to ask you, like, how important is faith in your walk right now, in your journey, and let us know what happened on April 4th.
Yeah, well, this is another reason that I'm just so fired up about life. I mean, it's cliche to sound, but it's like every day is such a blessing. You've got one life to live, and I actually have it. I have "Thank you, God, for another day" tattooed across my neck, chest, because every day when I wake up, I say, "Thank you, God, for another day." And every day before I go to sleep, I thank God for another day. So April 4th, Easter 2021, a buddy of mine asked me to go to work out. So I met up with him and another friend, and we went and we worked out. We played basketball afterwards. And I just started noticing, like, my breathing was a little off. I was a little heavier then, not like fat heavy, but a bulking season. And I wasn't really doing cardio because I was putting on the weight. And starting April 15th, I was going to start cutting back down for the summertime. So I was like 243 pounds was the last weight that I had. So in my mind, I'm thinking that I'm out of breath and I'm not feeling like normal because of how out of shape I am. I wasn't conditioned for basketball at the time. And I grew up playing basketball. I mean, I played high school and everything. So that's my favorite sport. But, after you stop, things should come back to normal. Your heart rate should slow back down after 10 or so minutes. Your blood pressure, everything calms down. But after 10 or 15 minutes, after we played, we were all kind of hanging out around the bleachers and chatting it up because we hadn't seen each other in a bit. And I noticed that my heart rate was not lowering, nothing. So we walk out to leave, and I noticed that I'm starting to get some pains in my chest, getting a headache, arm is starting to go numb. Get in the car, and the symptoms are getting worse. Stop at a gas station for some Advil because the headache is excruciating. Take the Advil. And then it was my ex, my girlfriend at the time, my ex, I said, something is not right. I want to go to an ER. She's like, okay, let's go. Thankfully, it was Easter because there was no traffic. I was in Austin, Texas, and there's always tons of traffic in Austin. And I found a spot. We were there within 5 minutes. Mind you, I found this out. Shoot. One of my fiance's best friend's husband is an ER doctor. And he was like, oh, man, you're very fortunate about where you went. I was like, what do you mean? He goes, if you go to a regular urgent care, they can't treat that. They bring an ambulance. They have to call for an ambulance, or they send you to the ER. But I ended up at an ER urgent care. That just happens to be the one that I selected. There's a lot of things that opened up my mindset on faith. So I get to this ER urgent care in 5 minutes. I walk in. Sir, how can we help you? I said, man, I'm pretty sure I'm having a heart attack. And I always joke around because at that point, he's like, can I see some ID? And in my mind, I'm like, dude, like, really? Get me to the back and let's get to work. But yeah, I left my wallet in the car. So I had to go back out to the car, get my wallet, come back in. I know. I gave them my ID. They let me fill out paperwork later, so that was nice of them. But anyway, so they get me to the back. The doctor hooks me up to the EKG, and I'll never forget when he looked at me. He was just like, "Sir, I'm sorry to tell you this, but you're suffering a severe heart attack right now." And in my mind, doctors exaggerate. I'll be out of here in an hour because I had a mild heart attack. This was my second one. So again, I was just like, they're full of crap. But sure enough, so they laid me down. I probably had every nurse, doctor at that facility in my room doing all these different things. And Debbie, the nurse that I was mainly with, was giving me this to chew and this to swallow. And I just remember communicating with her like, okay, the pain is not as bad. Okay, it's coming back. It's not as bad coming back. And then I'll never forget where like I could feel my breath shortening and shortening, where like I wasn't able to really breathe. And I told her, I was just like, I'm having a hard time breathing. I feel like I'm about to die. Y'all got to do something. Please help me. God, please help me. And then I died on the table. I was out. And I guess while I was out, they defibbed me, did CPR, and they saved my life. And so some things about the heart attack. Well, they woke me up. There was tons of paramedics there. They got me on the stretcher, loaded me up in the ambulance, rushed me to the hospital. They prepped me for surgery. I had a stent put in at my widowmaker, the LAD artery. And for those of you who don't know what the widowmaker is, it is the part of your heart, the LAD artery, the left side. That is the part of the heart that funnels the whole body of blood flow and oxygen. So when that part of your heart is cut off, like mine was 100% blocked, there is zero blood flow or oxygen through your entire body. And so they couldn't believe that I made it. I mean, that's why they call it a widowmaker, because it makes widows. Like, you die. It's a lot of people have a second heart attack on the way to the hospital, right? When they're in the ambulance. And a lot of people, they'll have other issues like blind in their left eye or their right arm doesn't work because your body's cut off of blood flow. But I walked out of the hospital on the third day, another symbolic, because it was Easter when I had the heart attack. On the third day, I had no damage to my heart and pump function normal as if nothing happened. 2 weeks later, I'm at a Discount Tire. If y'all don't have Discount Tire where you live, they are always packed. So it was standing room only. I'm outside waiting. This lady walks up to me, never met her in my life. She said, "Sir, can I talk to you for a second?" She didn't talk to anybody else. I said, "Yes, ma'am, what's up?" She said, "You have this energy about you, and I just wanted to come tell you that God and Jesus told me to tell you that they're looking out for you and everything is going to be okay. When I tell you that all the hairs on my body grew because I got the most massive, insane chills of my life, I cannot make it up. And to let you know I'm telling the truth, everybody always asks me, did I see anything when I died? And no, I didn't. And I took that as my relationship with God was not strong enough. That was something that came to my mind. So I've strengthened my relationship a lot. And another fact about Debbie, the lady that's the nurse that did the CPR and defibbed me. She normally works at the ER at the hospital, specializing in heart attacks. She's only at that clinic about 2-ish times a month, and she happened to be there that day, and she saved my life. Like, I was down on the table for about 40 seconds, she said. So many things. Oh, and the next year, my birthday was on the Pentecost, June 5th, 2022. You can look it all up. So I said, enough is enough. I don't need to see any other signs. And that's what April 4th, I'll never forget that day, April 4th, 2021. April 4th, 2018, I couldn't tell you what the heck happened, but certain things stick with us. April 4th is also one of my mentor's birthday. And I remember that because April 4th, 2013 is when I ran into him. And he was my upline in Herbalife who mentored me and got me going. So April 4th is interesting. But that's the story of the heart attack.
First of all, I'm over here baffled. Like, you were having a massive heart attack.
Yeah.
And God gave you strength to go outside to get your ID. Like
Yeah.
that to me keeps standing out to me because
Severe. The whole time I played basketball, I was driving to the ER clinic. I'm having a severe, massive heart attack. I
yeah.
mean,
And
it's
you were able
unbelievable.
to walk in, you were able to articulate it, you were able to go back to your car, and it just continues to confirm God's timing. Like it
Chills.
was not your time to go, and then you went for 40 seconds, but
Yeah.
here God set up like the doctor, the nurse to be there to help to revive you, and you resurrected. That part to me
Yeah.
is you
It's
resurrected.
it's amazing, man. And my favorite thing to do is speak. I've gone on school speaking tours,
Mhm.
talking about the importance of circle of influence. And I mean, if everybody's like, how is it that you had a heart attack? Like I was 35, you're in such great shape. Well, I had a major drug problem, which
Mhm.
I've been sober from drugs. I'll drink a little bit here and there. I haven't used drugs in 3 years and 7 months now. And like, yeah, people are always like, oh my God, I'm so sorry that happened to you. You're so young. I said, it's the best thing that ever happened to me ever, because I would probably still use drugs if that didn't happen to me. But it woke my ass up, and I'm like, no more. Enough is enough. And I've had so many friends OD. Yeah, it legit the best thing that ever happened. I mean, I wrote the best-selling book after that. I'm a published TEDx speaker. That came because of, just it's been a blessing.
I love it. I'm just like, I mean, Instagram's going crazy. Like, hello, angels that were looking over you. Like, you were,
Yeah. I lost my little brother to
yes,
a drug overdose.
yes.
And I'll never forget. And I don't, if anybody's ever in this situation, which I hope you're not, I texted my mom in the urgent care ER. And I said, hey, mom, I'm having a massive heart attack. And I put my phone down.
Mm.
Like, I could only imagine what was going through her mind, because we lost my little brother. I'm her only other son, her only other child. And now she just gets a text that I had a massive heart attack.
Hard.
But in my mind, remember I said that doctors exaggerate. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'll be out of here in an hour. I truly thought that I was going to be out of there in an hour. Now, I was out of there in around an hour,
Yeah.
just a little bit different than I thought it was going to go. But hey, mine is a powerful thing.
That part. But also like, so, and then you talked about what happened afterwards, like just how drastic your life changed. Because even after the situation, you were like, I decided to increase my faith in God. I decided
Oh,
to build
yes.
my relationship with God. And earlier today, when you were talking about the personal work you were doing, that was one of it. You said mind, body, and spirit. And I'm really taking my time with God and getting to know Him and going deeper. Throughout your life, other than you dying and being resurrected, have you noticed God's hand in your life, even when it comes to you building your success, even when it comes to you building your relationships?
For sure, looking back, but I wasn't aware at the time. Half my family's Jewish, half my family's Christian. I'm full blood Jewish, by blood. But my grandfather married a Christian woman, and that whole side of my family is Christian. My first cousin's name is Christian. And so I was always like in the middle, didn't want to upset the other side of the family. But as I got older, my mentors are all very Christian. Most of my friends are Christian. I started going to church. I started feeling a certain type of way being in church. Like, man, I look forward every Sunday and going and and hearing the word and just being in God's presence. Not, I mean, God's always, present, but like there's something different about being in church that speaks to you. And then after all of those different things took place, I'm like, you know what? It's my life, it's my decision. And yeah, that's my faith, Christianity.
Oh, I just love it. And it's so powerful. I love your tattoos. I love how bold you are, right?
I'm pretty tatted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you are. You go against what typical I'm going to say religious, not Christian.
Yeah.
What religious Christians think a Christian should be. And the fact that you're also you built $1 million businesses, you're serving so many people. Like these are the Christians that I love to showcase on podcasts because God used someone similar to you. He wasn't tatted up, but he was a millionaire Christian to help me start to build wealth. Like I had a belief that Christians should be poor, that they,
Mm,
that we shouldn't be making money. God doesn't want us to be rich. And then he puts people like you in my life and I'm like, oh no, it's the total opposite. So I can just imagine
100%.
how many minds you're blowing, how many people's lives you're challenging, how many people's religion you're challenging just by showing up, sharing your story, and how you're able to bless so many people. Like you
Yeah.
totally blessed us. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say thank you. I appreciate it. And And nice work to you, because a lot of people are fixed in their mindset and they're not willing to even take a look at something different. And because you were open to that, now your life has changed. And as a result of your life, like your life changed because of all the lives that you're changing. And that's how God works. The better that we do, the more we can bless.
Exactly. And I love it because when you died, God was like, not yet.
Not yet.
It's not time. It's not
Yeah.
time. But you got to have that experience because it transformed your life to make you better, so that you can
100%.
help others. So I know we're a little over time. Talk to us about the Code of Behavior course. I'm going to drop the link in the chat. But for those who really want to stay connected with you and work with you, tell them how they can get connected through this course.
Yeah, well, get connected through the course or get a hold of me. So my website is www.jasonlnemes.com. Here it is right there. Nemes is the last name. And then, yeah, I mean, that, you can find all the information on there. You can get a hold of me at Tatted Press, which I might change soon. We'll see. Yeah. People are like, that was your old life. Okay, so in Herbalife, when you hit president's team, in Herbalife, when you hit the top 1%, you're considered president's team. And I'm Tatted Prez, right? So that was kind of that's where that comes from. But then it just kind of stuck. Like, what up, Tatted Prez?
Yeah.
People don't even say, what's up, Jason? So I'm kind of back and forth on it. But
I like it because even though it's your old life, it's still your present life. Like, it's what we can see. And there's no shame about the tattoos. Like, people are attracted to you. You're bringing in different crowds. Like, honestly, people get tired of the whole polished Christian religion.
You should see when I speak at schools.
Yeah.
These kids are like, who's this guy?
Right. You're
I'm just covered in tats and an in shape individual that's loud.
Yeah.
So I definitely capture attention. Yeah. But no, I appreciate it. But yeah, codeofbehaviorcourse.com. You can also find it on jasonlnemes.com. And you can get a hold of me on Tatted Prez on my IG. It's what I'm most active on, or TikTok as well, Tatted Prez. So.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So I did drop the link in the chat for those of you to get access to it. For those of you tuning into the replay, I'll make sure to pin Jason's website as well so that you can get access to him. And then, of course, he'll be on Instagram. I'll tag him to the podcast so you can follow him. But get connected with him, get into his circle, especially if you are a business owner, you're ready to scale and you're not really sure how. One of the things that Jason did was he surrounded himself with the people. So get part of his community. Jason, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Your journey. It has been such a pleasure. Thank you to everyone who has tuned in today. We have one more podcast tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern. Actually, no, tomorrow's at 10 a.m. Eastern. We have someone who's going to be sharing about how she burnt down her entire business, or at least 90% of her business, when she turned to God. So we'll all see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern.
Bye, y'all.